Hello, children. It's Santa again. How are you today? I hope you enjoyed my story from last night. Tonight's story is a story called The Donkey of Nazareth. And it's about Benjamin, the donkey that carried Joseph and Mary to Bethlehem. I am Benjamin the donkey. My home is in Nazareth, a village in Galilee, and my master is a carpenter called Joseph. My story is about Joseph, his wife, and the child Jesus. One winter, the Roman Empire wanted to make a list of all the people. Joseph and Mary had to go to Bethlehem, the city of David, because Joseph came from the family of David. It was a long journey to Bethlehem from the hills of Galilee, and I was glad to carry the kind and gentle Mary. Joseph walked beside us with a long stick. When we reached Bethlehem, it was late at night and very dark. Every street seemed to be full of people. When we came to the inn, that was full too. The innkeeper said he had no room for us. We were all very tired, and I knew Joseph was worrying about Mary, who sat so quietly and patiently on my back. The innkeeper felt very sorry for us. He said the only place he could find of shelter for the night would be in a stable. Thankfully, we followed him into a dimly lit stable, which was warm and dry and smelt of fresh hay. My master piled up the hay to make a bed for Mary, then lifting her from my back, laid down for her to sleep. He led me to a stall with the oxen, took off my saddle and fed me. Although it was being so noisy when we came through the streets, it was very still and quiet in the stable. I soon fell asleep. I woke suddenly and listened. I had heard the first faint cries of a newborn baby. The stable seemed full of light, and I could see Mary with her baby, Jesus, in her arms. There was no cradle for him. So Mary wrapped him in swaddling clothes and laid him in a bed of hay in the manger. And Joseph and Mary, the oxen and I, gazed at the baby with wonder. This was no ordinary baby. This was Christ's child. All was very still. Even the little mouse, which had been rustling under the hay in the corner of the stable, was quiet. Then in the stillness I heard sounds of voices and hurrying footsteps, and through the doorway came shepherds, one only a young boy, silent and still. They stood for a moment, blinking in the bright light. Then, when they saw the child in the manger, they knelt down and worshipped him. An old shepherd had carried a newborn lamb, laid it down beside him. Slowly the lamb staggered to its feet, peered over the edge of the manger. He bleated softly as it saw the tiny baby peacefully asleep in the hay. The shepherd boy turned to Mary and said, "How I wish I had a present to give the Christ child, but I have nothing. We were in the fields taking care of our sheep, when suddenly there was an angel before us. We were all very frightened, but the angel said, 'We fear nothing.' For the wonderful news for us, he told us to leave our sheep and come to Bethlehem, where we would find the Christ here in the stable. We came quickly as we could, and so had no money. I had nothing to give him." With a smile, Mary said, "The child does not want presents from you. All he wants is your love." At last the shepherds rose to their feet and went slowly out of the stable back to their flock in the hills. After some weeks, the time came for Mary and Joseph to take baby Jesus to the temple in Jerusalem. Joseph polished my saddle and bridle until they shone, and I proudly carried Mary and Jesus to Jerusalem. We reached the great temple, and I waited in the courtyard. Joseph and Mary took Jesus inside to present him to God. When they returned, Mary and Joseph was talking with wonder about an old man whose name was Simeon. Simeon had taken Jesus in his arms, blessed him and called him the Saviour of the world. With great joy we went back to Bethlehem. Now that's the story of the birth of child, Jesus. So on Christmas morning, children, please spare a moment for baby Jesus and say thank you. And I'll speak to you later on tomorrow night. Good night, sleep tight.